So today I want to get into a new subject matter for my channel, and that is vaping. A friend of mine's been trying to get me to get off the analogs, as you might call them, for quite a long time. Been after me to try to start vaping and give up the cigarettes. So I'm about 4 weeks in at this point. As you can see, I've already amassed a small collection of various items. This is just a fraction of it at this point. But I've gone from almost a pack and a half a day down to a pack a day to 3/4 of a pack to a half a pack down to about 2 to 3 cigarettes per day now. So it does work. I'm shocked. I've tried Blue and various other e-cigarette products in the past and completely failed, but my buddy's like, man, you got to do it the right way, try something else. And he actually suggested skipping over all the little CE4, CE5 ego items and going straight for the mechanical mod. But of course, I kind of worked my way up. My girlfriend kind of got into it with me as well, and she'd only been smoking about a half a pack per day, and now she smokes probably 1 or 2 cigarettes per day. So it definitely has its advantages, much cleaner, plus you get a lot of flavor, and you can get various nicotine. We started off pushing around 24 just because, I smoked a lot, and so now it's coming to the point where I'm kind of thinking about cutting back a little bit on the mg per ml factor there, but also the vapor and the amount of nicotine and flavor that you're getting also directly relates to the type of unit you're using. As a general rule, from what I understand, the lower the ohms, the more vapor and the more flavor and nicotine, everything is going to be impacted based on that. So anyway, excuse me. So starting off, we got a couple of the Ego with the USB pass-through on the bottom here. I'll give you a look at the bottom of that. You just unscrew the bottom and you can plug the USB, standard mini USB port into that. And you can actually vape while it's, charging the unit up and everything. And so I thought, oh, well, I'm going to skip the normal little screw-in units and go straight for the USB. Thought I was being smart, and it's okay, but to be honest with you, I never really use this. I usually just take the battery out and screw it in. And one cool thing is that I created a little, created both of these just out of little hobby boxes I picked up at AC Moore and drilled my holes and put some styrofoam in and stuff. But I took my charger and integrated it into the back port, stood it up on the inside right there, and so now I just screw my battery in to charge it up, plugged in the USB, and then so I put my little accessory attachments, little battery holder, crap like that. So anyway, get the general idea. Where there is a will, there is a way. So starting off, my girlfriend and I purchased a 2-pack dual kit of the Ego 1100 milliamp hour, and it came with a couple of CE4 cartridges by default. So just a quick lesson: CE4, the top unscrews, the bottom does not come out. So these are I guess the concept behind that is that these are fairly well disposable as far as that goes. Although I've been using these for about 4 weeks, still have not burnt out any of my coils yet, which is nice. CE5 has the additional ring down here where you can unscrew this, and the whole center column with the coils and the wicks and everything slides out. You can clean it, change the coils, rebuild them, do everything. So I actually have some 30 gauge Canthal and some silica wick, which I don't know if I'll end up using the silica wick. I'll probably go with organic cotton, as my friend suggested. So next in line, we purchased a couple of the 650 milliamp hour batteries, just to be portable, because these are, you can conceal them, fairly well as far as taking puffs or whatever. And these are okay. They produce fairly good flavor. But they start to fall kind of flat after a while. You feel yourself kind of wanting more as far as power output. So next in line, we have the Ego 2200 milliamp hour battery. As you can see, the difference, the 1100 and the 22. not nearly as long. And if you compare the 650 to that, you can see the difference there. Not too much difference in the length, but it is bigger around, you know. And it actually feels like it has a better grip as opposed to that. And this battery's supposed to last for like a week. And so far, it does a really good job. I only have to charge it, I mean, depends on how much you vape, you know, but maybe every 2 or 3, 4 days, something like that. So the 2200 milliamp hour batteries are good as far as that goes. And I created a little thing out of a little beer koozie, you know, it's like an extra little grip for the base of it. So next in line came cartridges, or I'm sorry, tanks. So started off, actually kind of skipped ahead and ended up buying a Coolfire 1, and it actually came originally with this iClear 30B tank. And I thought, oh, I'm so cool now. I've got a mechanized, not even a mechanized, just a heavy steel, you know, nice unit and everything, and purchased a battery charger. Came with a couple of batteries using 18350 IMR 800 milliamp hour unprotected batteries at this point. And so I thought, well, I want to continue testing out tanks, so picked up another of the 2200 milliamp hour Ego batteries and some iClear 30. Now the 30B and the 30 are two different creatures, as you can see. The 30 has dual coil top wick system in it, and then the 30B has a dual coil bottom burning system, bottom coil system, and the wicks are much shorter coming out of the bottom of this. There's four, there's two, one that goes this way and another one that crosses kind of like that down in the middle of it. So, and then up here it crosses the same way, but on the top, and the wicks come down. So, you know, initially my first thought was like, oh, this will be so nice, bottom coil, no wicks, all that. And granted, it's not a bad tank. Well, alright, I'll correct myself here in just a moment, now that I've said that. The 30, just the straight up 30 with the wick dual coil top unit, love it. Can't get enough of this, okay? Now, out of all the flavors, and we have about 15 different flavors, we're already mixing our own liquid and getting our, you know, nicotine levels to where we want them and our flavors to where we want them, and steeping our liquid and stuff like that. So we've gotten a pretty quick crash course here, so part of the reason I'm doing this video. Now, my first thing on the 30B tanks is that this dark tank, I run nothing. I try to run only one flavor, or like for instance this would be something fruity. Right now it's a fire drop mixed with pineapple, super good. This one is vanilla ice cream mixed with caramel apple, and it's really become a staple for me. It's got a nice kind of deep flavor, almost like a coffee kind of, you know, flavor, but sometimes I'll throw a little bit of cinnamon in there. And in this tank, this has run nothing but this, and I've taken the tank apart, I've cleaned it, I've done, you know, a couple of times, and honestly, out of all the tanks, I have 3 of these now. I haven't even used this one yet because of what I'm about to tell you. The vanilla caramel apple in this works great, and I get good vape out of it, okay? This one has a pineapple melon ball in it, and this is the one that actually came with the Coolfire originally. Same type of tank though, just a different drip tip on the top there. None of the fruit flavors, nothing has tasted good in these tanks, okay? I've tried many various different flavors in these 2 tanks, okay? Clean them out, you know, washed them out, made sure the wicks are nice and clean in between, you know, changeovers and stuff. The vanilla caramel apple has always tasted really good in this. Nothing else tastes good to me in these. And on top of that, they leak. They leak like a madman, the 30Bs, okay? The 30, iClear 30, never had a problem leaking. CE4, CE5, never had a problem leaking. The iClear 30B, Well, you can't really see. There's a little bit on the bottom of that one. The main issue that I have is I'll put a tank on, and then when I go, make sure it's turned off there, when I go to take this tank out, another thing with the Coolfire 1 I've noticed, if I just take the tank off and put it down, fill it up, put it back together, it won't work. So the first thing, I'll go ahead and take it apart here, unscrew this. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is definitely liquid there. And also, if I can get in on the battery, let this focus here for just a moment. I don't know if you can see, yeah, kind of at that angle, there's liquid in there, okay? And this every single time. Every time I take this tank off, which is about once a day, I have to take a tissue and clean it out, and then clean the bottom of this, flip it upside down, put my liquid in, clean it, put it together, and then when I put it back on, it doesn't work. What I've discovered is that I have to go back in a second time to take the cartridge off, clean this out, and then I have to unscrew the battery. So, unscrew the battery, pop it back in, let it show the light, kick on, then screw the tank back in. Works fine after that. It's the oddest thing. I guess maybe it's fault protection in here somehow is picking up on the fact that you've screwed the tank in, and then when it's registering, you know, in the system or whatever, because there is a chip inside of this. Now the biggest downfall with this, I think, is that since these tanks leak, okay, inside of this unit, when you get liquid down in there, it is going to leak down into the circuitry eventually. So you have to clean it like every single time. And then also the default tip that comes with that, I don't know if you can see how loose that is. I mean, it practically kind of falls out of there. So I went to my local vape shop and picked up one, and they were more than happy to hook me up with the knucklehead, you know, as far as that goes. But and I like this a lot better. This is so much, you know, I highly suggest if as opposed to having to do this all the time, you can kind of hold it like this and, you know, take a puff off of it, whatever. This produces 8.5 watts, and if you're running an 18350 battery in here, you're going to get probably, I vape a lot, you know, as opposed to smoking cigarettes, so I get about 6 hours or so out of the battery life on this. But because it's 8.5 watts, it doesn't, I mean, it produces pretty good flavor on this one, but I'll be honest with you, the Ego 2200 along with the 30, the iClear 30, just regular tank, this is cheap. $15 for this battery, and I think I paid $9 or $10 for this cartridge, or the tank, and it's a 3 milliliter, yeah, 3 milliliter. So for 25 bucks, this is the bomb right here. This thing will last for days. It keeps going and going, and I always get a good vape out of it. Filling these units up, the CE4, you're gonna fill it from the top, just unscrews from up here. You turn it sideways, drip your liquid into it. The CE5, same concept up here. You're gonna unscrew this, drip your liquid into the side, let it run down, and then fill up. My girlfriend made the mistake the first day when she unscrewed this unit. Now you can see that the whole bottom of the unit is moving, but it accidentally unscrewed from the top and she spilled liquid everywhere. So do be careful in regards to that. The iClear 30 tanks, you can remove the tips up here, the knucklehead, whatever, but these unscrew from the top. I'll go ahead and unscrew this one and show you. And in my honest opinion, that is so much easier to fill up like that. You know, you just drop your liquid in, you've got a much bigger chamber to work with as far as trying to put your liquid in there and everything. The only thing is when you go to put this top back on, you have to have it aligned just right, because the first 4 or 5 times it seemed like I couldn't get it to thread properly. Now, even with the 2200 milliamp hour battery, this thing hits like a there's so much flavor, there's so much vape coming off of it. I love it. This seems like the perfect combination, and I spent all this money, got crazy with it. I've got, you know, 20 CE5 cartridges and all kinds of crap, you know, and it comes down to a $25 solution as far as you want something quick, easy, reliable. I think this is it right here. Now you can use the iClear 30 tanks on the little Ego batteries, But to be honest with you, it's kind of awkward looking. You know, you're gonna have the skinny little battery with a huge tank sticking off the top of it, you know, and it's very top heavy in that sense. And I've tried it with the little beauty ring or the support ring along with like a 650 battery, and it's okay, but it's still just very top heavy. So I like the balance as far as this goes, especially with my little rubber, my little protective or grip thing on the bottom of it. It's very easy as far as that goes. The Ego batteries are good, you know, for the first couple of weeks to get started with, and they're cheap enough. The next step is going to be the 2200 milliamp hour battery, which I am a big proponent of. These work a lot better, especially with the CE5s and also with the iClear 30 wicked top wick tanks, or top dual coil. Works very well with that, such as this unit right here. And these cartridges, or the tanks, are $9–10 off of eBay. Very cheap as far as that goes. I also have a cloud tank clouper for dry herb, and these work very well, but they clog up from your tar and stuff like that fairly quickly. Don't use this one quite as much, just kind of, you know, sits around. But this is also an Ego 650 mAh battery. I'm going to take a little vape off of each one of these and let you see what it do. All right. Love that. Love that. Even with the CE5s, that 2200 milliamp hour battery works. The iClear 30. Man, this thing is a beast, I'm telling you, especially with that 2200 milliamp battery. Love the iClear 30. The 30B. Now, remember, we got to count this off here. Uno, dos. So, don't get me wrong, this will produce good cloud. You just have to wait for it. You kind of have to nurse it a little bit in order to get it started up. So, anyway, I'm excited to get into the mechanical mods and just go for the straight power, see how it pans out. So anyway, that's going to be it for me. For any of the new people out there that are new to vaping, this is just a quick little rundown of everything, almost everything we've tried in combination with various batteries and stuff like that. So on the overall, Ego 2200 milliamp hour, either with the CE5 or the Ego 2200 milliamp hour with the iClear 30. Those would be my two picks right there. And if I had to choose only one, this is it. You're looking at the 2200 milliamp hour with the iClear 30. So once my K100 mechanical mod gets here, and I've tried it out with this, I may shoot another video review, but I've kind of graduated even over a 3 or 4 week period from the starter stuff to a little bit bigger, to what you might consider more professional, which in my opinion is not really that professional. Sorry about that. You guys out there, anybody has a better product, wants to send me something for a review, I'm more than happy to do that. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please post a comment, rate, subscribe. Peace. Thanks for watching.